Good morning everyone, I'm Rhea F. Tamayo from the SES 3A. So, our assigned topic is about vermin control. So, our group is decide na i-divide yung topics. Yung every sections i-divide namin. So, na-assign sa akin is section 7 to section 12. So, under section 7, it's all about general requirements for vermin abatement program. So, under the vermin abatement program is a vermin abatement program implemented at the local. It must be community-wide and community participated. So, next is it must be technically coordinated. It must be continuing. It must be basically a partnership between the private and the government sectors. So, these are yung mga buildings natin. So, preferably, utilize indigenous technology and resources to attain self-reliance. So, next is a vermin abatement program shall include any or a combination of the following vermin control methods as may be necessary. So, the first reporter, which is si Solis, ay yung first reporter is i-discuss niya yung mga vermin control methods. So, next is a vermin abatement program, and all establishment and places shall be maintained by the owners and operators or administrators. So, technically, yung mga owners ng every establishment is they have a responsibility naman. Then next is the integrated control approach or alternative use of traditional pesticides and vermin control shall develop and applied. So, before, yung wala pa yung mga, yung tulad ng, before is, yung wala pa yung mga pesticides, which is yung mga chemicals na ginagamit natin para ma-destroy natin yung mga, insects or mga rodents is gumagamit ng traditional pesticide. So, it shall be unlawful to have, keep, maintain, cause, or permit any collection of standing water or flowing water, waste, and other toxic chemicals. So, next is the procedures and frequency of vermin abatement program maintained in the locality, establishment, or places shall be developed by the local health officer using vermin density survey or disease surveillance data among the other bases. And next is the National Guarantee Office has jurisdictions in international airports and port of entry and shall implement the national quarantine rules and regulation and the international health regulation of the World Health Organization. So, next naman is yung vermin abatement program under the supervision of the local health office shall be maintained or for public places operated by the local government uses. The uses of pesticides in vermin abatement program shall be carried out only under the supervision of licensed urban pest control operator or urban pest control. Then, lastly is community fogging or spraying operation shall be done on selective basis under but not limited to the following circumstances or conditions: epidemic calamities or evacuation areas, and etc. So, next section is all about requirements for vermin abatement program in public places. So, next is ito yung mga abatement program na kailangan is nakakandak ng either sa mga public places nga. So, abatement program for insects, larviciding, and other biological control methods. So, in insects, kailangan natin gumamit ng biological control methods. So, improving removal, recycling, and other decaying or organic matters from open field. So, destructions of adult insects by fogging, misting, residual spraying. So, distractions. So, kailangan natin gumamit ng other spraying or pagpapausok para mas humina or mamatay yung mga nanay na adults or even yung mismong tatay niya. So, warding off and repelling adult insects by utilizing botanical, electrical, and biological methods. So, in adult insects, pwede natin gamitin yung method na botanical, electrical, and biological. So, proper maintenance of waste, water drains, and storms water canal. So, ito yung mas importante dito. Kailangan yung mga drainage natin or kung saan dumadalo yung mga water from ulan, ganon. Kailangan natin i-check yun or kailangan talaga ng maintenance everyday or kailangan natin walisin or man lang i-spray natin ng kahit ano. Next is the screening, trapping of solid waste, and removal of underwater debris of all tributary outlets. So, ito, kailangan sa mga canal natin is kailangan may mga screen siya para naman hindi yung mga solid waste is hindi siya papasok dun sa mga example sa drainage natin. So, kailangan may screen pa rin siya para hindi mag-stuck. Kasi, di ba, mayroon, yung mga drainage natin is, yung hindi naman may iwasan yung mga solid waste, di ba? So, kailangan natin iwasan na sumama yung solid waste sa water. Next is covering, screening, or decanting of all water stocks containers. So, same naman siya dun sa bago binasa ko lang. So, spraying the surface of drainage canal water, stagnant pools, or other running water with larvicides once every 7 days. So, kailangan natin siya i-maintain once in a week, pwede din siya. Then, filing and cleaning of potential egg-laying areas such as cracks and crevices. So, preventing the accumulation of water in containers, providing insects, egg traps for dark areas. So, covering of exposed food and food materials. So, ito, hindi natin maiiwasan na kapag after natin kumain, then hindi natin siya naubos. Minsan is, hinahayaan na natin siyang i-open. Ganon. So, kailangan natin isipin na lahat ng mga bukas na pagkain, yun talaga yung mostly na pumupunta, doon talaga mostly pumupunta yung mga ganong mga insekto. So, kailangan cover your foods. Or, kung ayaw mo nang kainin, then, throw it in, proper trash can. So, kasi, in terms na makontaminate siya ng mga insects is, hindi natin maiwasan na baka yung mga insects na ngayon is nagdadala ng sakit. So, kailangan talaga, if gusto mo pang kainin yung pagkain mo, then, hindi mo siya naubos, cover mo talaga. So, maintenance of the general cleanliness of buildings premises. So, ito, kailangan yung mga buildings natin, yung mga establishments natin, is kailangan natin i-maintain yung cleanliness. Kasi doon talaga mostly pupunta yung mga insekto. So, for rodents. Rodents is yung mga malalaking yung mga rats, ganun. So, rat proofing of all buildings. Eliminating harborage and breeding places. Providing simple, inexpensive traps like egg traps and string traps. So, providing rat-proven garbage containers for disposal of solid waste. Trimming all free branches likely to harbor rats. Applying rodenticides with provisions for emergency instructions in the packaging. So, using natural predators such as cats, dogs, or prey were applicable. So, ito yung mga predators na like cats, dogs. Yan sila yung mga mostly kumakain yung mga rodents like rats. So, advantages sa atin, if example, di ba, sa bahay natin, advantage talaga natin is yung mga animals like mga cats and dogs. Kasi nga, there's a tendency na sila yung kumakain nun, yung mga rodents nga. Next section is under Section 9 Requirements for Vermin Abatement Program in Public Places Establishment. So, first is all public places establishment shall keep a tight screen for processed foods that attract insects, and shall not keep in the premises own, lease, these or things of whatever kinds, nature of descriptions in which flies and rats may breed. So in public places, establishments where foods is handled, sold, and served imply proving facilities such as air curtain and gauge number 16 wire mesh screen. So mga establishments is kailangan natin ng mga curtains, yung mga curtains, and kailangan is every windows is may mga gauge wire mesh na number 16. So para naman matrap sila, or if ever galing sa labas yung mga flies, example, galing sa labas yung mga flies. So, maiiwasan natin na hindi sila papasok sa mismong bahay natin. So, overflow pipe of elevated and ground level water tank shall be covered with at least gauge number 16 wire mesh. Septic tank shall be water light and clean outs shall be fitted with screen. This charging of sewage in curbs, open canals, or street gutters is prohibited. Branches of trees growing close to a building shall be trimmed to prevent easy access of rodents. Biodegradable waste shall be stored and collected in rat-proofed containers with tight fitting lid and shall be managed segregated separately from non-biodegradable waste. So ito, common naman din to sa atin. So kailangan na natin i-separate yung biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. So next section is section 10, requirements for vermin abatement program in food establishment and facilities. So ito naman is yung mga sa food establishment. So, door and window screening or rat proofing shall be constructed and maintained as to include vermin food establishment. So, as usual, kailangan natin ng mga screen. So, para ma-avoid yung pagpasok ng mga rats. Especially sa mga food establishment. All open which connect to the outer all shall be effectiveness protected with screen or non-corrosive gauge number 16 wire mesh or finer or the use air curtain. So during actual refatting, fogging, and disinfecting operation, all foodstuffs, utensils, foods, preparation, and cleaning equipment shall be covered properly. So in case nagagamit tayo ng mga fogging or mga disinfecting na mga materials or mga like spraying, yung fogging is kailangan natin i-assure na covered lahat ng mga paggagamitin natin sa foods. Like yung mga utensils na gagamitin natin sa mga food preparation, kailangan natin i-assure na covered sila kasi yung mga disinfecting natin is they are all chemicals. So, hindi naman yun tama na, diba, gagamitin natin yun sa pagkain, then na-contaminate, natamaan na siya ng disinfecting or mga spraying. Next is the provision of separate storage facilities for pesticides, soaps, and chemicals shall be provided and located far from food and food utensils. So ito, kailangan natin i-separate yung mga pesticides na ginagamit natin, so mga soaps, yung mga chemicals sa ating mga food or food utensils. And then, decaying vegetables and garbage shall be disposed daily. So, yung mga hindi na natin ginagamit na vegetables or 2 to 3 days na siyang hindi gamit, so kailangan natin siya i-dispose kasi hindi na yun siya pwede. So, proper garbage disposal shall be maintained. So, ito, proper garbage disposal is mahirap talaga sa atin na gawin. So, kailangan in food establishment, importante siya ma-maintain kasi nga, pagkain yung hinahawakan natin. So, kailangan natin i-dispose siya na maayos. So, residual spraying inside the food establishment shall be made only as the need arises. So, during emergencies, the use of physical control measures such as electrical devices, mini flame throwers, and flooding of exclusive breeding grounds shall be allowed. So, the vermin of the release of vermin and dissemination of pathogenic organisms shall be undertaken only in controlled setting as approved by concerned government agencies. So next is the Section 11 requirements for abatement program in building and residences. So, constructing of new building and residences. The owners of buildings and residences shall have the floor of the lower story constructed of concrete or other impervious materials to render the building vermin control. Next is the owners of building and residences shall maintain the premises in vermin-proven condition. Plans for vermin-proofing of building or residences shall be approved by the local health officer as recommended by the sanitary engineer. So, next is the building or residences whose floor of the lower story is not made of concrete or other impervious material shall be elevated so that there will be clear unobstructed space of the less 50 cm between the bottom of the joist and higher points of ground thereunder. So, next is the repair and maintenance of building and residences. So, yung kaninang nabasa ko, nabasa ko is about siya sa mga new buildings or bago lang pinapatayo yung mga building. So, ito naman is yung mga kailangan na siya repair. Ibig sabihin is yung napatayo na siya. Ayun. Nagamit na siya, kailangan repair and maintenance of buildings and residences. So, no occupant, owner, constructor, or any other person or entitled shall remove or fail to restore in similar and proper condition or made any new opening that are closed or sealed against the entry of vermin. So every owner or occupant of any buildings or residence that is infected with vermin shall at once proceed and continue in good faith to eradicate such vermin by poisoning or trapping means preferably supervised by the local health officer. So example is na infect kayo ng mga vermin is kailangan nating masabihan yung mga local health officers. So, di ba, para mas maasikaso tayo or kailangan talaga nating magpagamot. So, firewood, scrap lumbers, and other loose materials adjacent to or under building shall be properly piled on platforms or stand with a clear space. So, mga firewoods, mga lumbers is kailangan natin ayusin siya. Kailangan is yung mga kahoy is nakatayo lang siya lahat. Kailangan naka-file siya kasi doon talaga mostly pupunta yung mga animals or yung mga maliliit na yung mga rodents and mga insects. Nagtatago lang yun sila. So, garbage, rubbish, or waste of any kind shall not be placed, damp, or permitted to accumulate or remain any buildings or residence in vicinity of the same. So, lastly is the premises, including vacant lots, shall be kept clean and free of accumulation of junk, debris, and stagnant water by the lot owner or caretaker. Last is the Section 12 requirements for vermin abatement program in ports, airports, vessels, aircrafts, and other conveyances. So, ito naman is yung sa mga ports, yung mga lancha, yung airports which is yung mga airplano, and then vessels, yung mga barko, aircraft, and other conveyances. So, ports and airports naman yung unahin natin. These are yung mga saan tayo sumasakay ng papunta, saan tayo sumasakay ng barko, gano'n, yung saan tayo sumasakay ng mga airplano. So, the quarantine medical officer or in his absence, the local health officer for each shall take measure to help port and airport installation free of vermin. So, kailangan is, yung mga airports is mga ports dapat free sila sa mga any animals that can cause us a mga sakit. So every port of entry in the area within the perimeter of an airport shall be kept free from vectors of diseases or epidemiological. So disinfectant, defatting, and other sanitary operations shall be carried out in such manner that will not cause undue discomfort of any person or injury to his health. So, if possible na mag-disinfect tayo ng mga ports or airports, is kailangan is ma-assure natin na hindi siya matatamaan sa mga tao, especially sa mga may injury. So, next is not produce any deleterious effect on the structures of a ship, an aircraft, or vehicles, or else operating equipment. So last is not produce any damage to cargo, goods, baggage, containers. So kailangan is magdi-disinfect tayo. Kailangan is, malinis siya. There's no cargoes, mga goods, kasi hindi natin alam na mga dala pa ng mga passengers is may mga pagkain or mga pagkain. So, yung mga containers din is kailangan wala siya. So, next is all public and private docks and wharves shall be constructed and protected as to prevent rodents from gaining access thereto or thereunder of either high or low. So, sa vessels naman. So, all oceans-going vessels and domestic passengers and cargo vessels shall be regularly subjected to rat infestation, inspection, fumigated, and other appropriate rat control measures. So, any vessels or other watercrafts arriving from foreign ports docking alongside any wharf of dock. So, any vessels or aircraft arriving from a plague-infested port or suspected of carrying plague-infected rodents or other dreadful communicable disease shall be subjected to appropriate quarantine may determine and impose. So watercrafts based on sub-ports playing short distances shall be subject to sanitation and rodent inspections by the local health officer concerned. So vegetables of farm products which are shipped in container and from areas in which, in the opinions of the quarantine medical officers, there is danger of the existence of rodents, borns, and vectors borne. Disease shall be boxed, crated, and stored in rot-proven structures prior to the day of shipment. So it shall be responsibility of the owner, agent, master, or other officers in charge of any vessels, steamboat, or other watercraft to comply with the provision on vessel watercraft of these implementing rules and regulations. Lastly is sa mga public utility vehicles. So disinfecting of public utility vehicles prior to its departures shall be maintained by the owner or the operator to prevent the migrations of vermin which epidemiological significance. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.